developing sustainable solutions for waste, and help implement circular economy in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And I'd like to start by sharing that the circular economy has one of its main principles is to reduce waste and pollution. And the Ellen MacArthur Foundation has demonstrated how applying circular economy strategies in just 5 key areas like cement, aluminum, steel, plastic, and food can eliminate almost half of the remaining emission from the productions of goods, which is 9.3 billion tons of CO2 emission in 2050. This is actually equivalent to cutting current emission from all transport to zero. In 2019, a study performed by a consultancy firm estimated that if all GCC countries alone could save up to 138 USD billions, could save up to 138 billion USD dollars by 2030, and reduce emission by 150 million tons of CO2 as a result of circular approach to their economies. Packaging is important, and it is very important for the shelf life and the hygiene through the supply chain for both food and non-food products. So efficient use of packaging through the principles of circularity can help to support diversion of waste from landfill, whose current impact is estimated at 20% of global emission. So now let's start with the session today, which is all about accelerating the transition to climate-friendly waste management using circular economy in cities and in settlements, and also using the public-private partnership to apply that. And for that, I'm happy to start introducing the panelists for today. And since ladies first, I would like to introduce the only lady that we have among our panelists. Please welcome to the stage Firdaus Osidom. Firdaus is the special advisor. Firdaus is the special advisor to the UCLG Secretary General at United Cities and Local Government. She is an architect by training, and she is an urban planner and thinker. She's also a member of the UNESCO for Intermediate Cities and World Urbanization. She was behind the G20 development agenda on intermediary cities and SDG with OECD under the Italian presidency. And my second panelist is Mohammed Al Yaqut. So please welcome Mohammed. Mohammed is the corporate sustainability manager for the Saudi investment recycling company known as CIRC, who has more than 9 years of experience in environmental and sustainability management, including oil and gas, petrochemical, recycling, and investment industry. Mohammed has a wide experience in different areas covering ESG, circular economy, carbon management, and sustainability reporting. My third panelist is Saad Al-Sharif. Please welcome Saad Al-Sharif to the stage. Saad Al-Sharif has 14 years of experience in oil and gas, chemicals, and industrial strategies. Currently, he is working as the General Manager for Convergent Industries in the Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources. He has a lot of responsibilities that include strategy execution, policy development, and investment attraction, and realization for specialty chemicals and plastic and rubber conversion. My fourth panelist for today is Tariq Basmer. Please welcome Tariq to the stage. Tariq is the Director of Business Development at the Circular Economy Consulting Company. And he has 12 years of experience, including 6 years in the environmental sustainability strategy. He has conceptualized new organizational structures that led to business expansions and built a strong network of subject matter experts to produce and achieve solid, accountable outcomes. He holds Circular Economy and Sustainability Strategies Diploma from the University of Cambridge in UK. So just allow me to join the panelists. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'd like to throw a question to all of you. And I would like you to answer it in less than 1 minute so we can get into the other questions. So at this MENA Climate Week on the eve of the global stock stake, what would you like our audience to take away as a key message regarding the circular economy as a solution to waste? So I'd like to start with you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Noor, for hosting me here. I think the Climate Week has been taking in consideration the energy and the saving of the energy as a main theme. While in the circular economy here, they miss some of the important part, which is coming to material emissions that's coming from the generation of the materials. So if you see, for example, the most of the international agencies that focus even on the carbon management, they were considering the aluminum, the steel, the other construction material as a part of the carbon emission source. It's worth to mention that even the landfill emissions has been considered significantly as a source for the greenhouse gases, which is impacting our Earth. So I think one of the reasons to participate here is to elevate the awareness about the greenhouse gas emission that's coming from the material and how we are contributing to remove that emission as a part of the landfill emissions and contributing efficiently to recycle that material and to produce another sustainable material to be used in the construction, in hospitality, in packaging, and other industries as well.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. What about you, Saad?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Noor, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really happy to be part of this session. Last session, so hopefully the best session we will have today. What I'd like to focus on today is the National Industrial Strategy and its role. Last year, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, launched the National Industrial Strategy in the Kingdom with a vision to build an agile, competitive, sustainable, and most importantly, private sector-led industrial economy, where the part of us as a ministry and the broader ecosystem is really to enable the private sector to capture these opportunities and to be the lead in achieving the transformation and the targeted growth that we are aiming to achieve. And that include legislators, include experts, investors, even SMEs and entrepreneurs. And maybe today I'll focus on two main points. The great movement and the great efforts happening really to provide and to make the kingdom integrated into the global supply chains of sustainable mobility solutions. And also when it comes to an important issue, which is waste management, especially on the polymers and plastics, and how we will be working across the board really to enable the recycling ecosystem in the kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Saad. Tariq?
First of all, thank you for having me. on this esteemed panel and on a very interesting topic and subject. My fellow panelists and I were having a small discussion right before we actually got into the stage concerning the importance of circularity and how it actually would lead the global stocktake and basically the entire Paris climate change guidelines towards a proper, sustainable quality of life or quality living for the entire world. And that can only happen after steering away from a linear economy model towards a circular economy model. But as Saad rightfully said, that does not happen with only one stakeholder, or there needs to be a proper engagement through proper stakeholder governance. And through that, of course, the private and public and private partnerships are quite important in order to achieve those different goals and mandates. And we believe in circular economy company that does come through, first of all, reverse engineering the current statuses of different downstreams and upstream manufacturing that would lead to a proper, sustainable future, inshallah, for the entire world.
Thank you, Tariq. Firdaus.
Thank you, Noor. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me in this panel. I'm honored to be invited between my fellow Ikhwan from Saudi. As a representative of the local government, we believe that we need a transformation of the development model. Circularity is necessary. It's not the only option for this transformation, but it is a necessary one and a key one. And when we think about the local government that are managing the daily life of the citizens and communities, circularity becomes a key transition in this changing and transforming of the model. And the second idea that for us is very important when we hear our constituency of local government is that the service delivery that is done by the local government is key and is the one that manages the waste. It goes through the service delivery of the local government. So, and I join what my fellow panelists have been saying, it is an ecosystem. The local government cannot do it alone. The communities cannot do it alone. We need a whole ecosystem, and this is what I hope we will be developing today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Firdaus, and that's why one of the key things we're focusing on is the private-public partnership. So let me start with a question addressed to Mohammed. So the circular economy is premised on reducing waste and pollution and maximizing resource utilization. What are the challenges facing governments and society to develop the ecosystem that will ensure a transformation to the circular economy and diversion of waste from landfill? How do you see the investment opportunities for waste management, recovery, collection, and conversion evolving in the run-up to 2030?
Actually, it's a good question, Ms. Noor. I think when it came to the main challenges of the circular economy execution and the implementation, it came mainly with the two main parameters that we are having. First of all, the awareness of the community, because as we know, the successful business models of the circular economy and enhancing the recycling, it's not just came in one day or on one night. It came through a journey of implementing, of sorting at the source, then implementing the total value chain that's going through the circular economy system. And I believe that we have the desire and we have the attitude to have it, because it's part of our Islamic culture. So in our Islamic culture that we have to minimize our waste, and we should not overtaking the natural resources that's part of our daily life. So I believe that the awareness session is just a part of our culture, and once we bring the right focus, the right vision, which we are executing at the right stage now, then the whole transformation for the whole value chain and the ecosystem, it will be start immediately. So this is basically the first challenge that I think we are facing, and now we are developing with the Ministry of Education and with the partnership of MWAN, the National Center for Waste Management, a clear milestone to overcome this. Indeed, it's now we have initiated the if you see the CIRC logo now, it's part of the national development or the sustainable development course that giving to the high school students. I think the belief, and I believe that the second challenge that we are facing is the infrastructure. The infrastructure that requires some time, requires some resources, and CIRC has been initiated by the PIF and by the Royal Decree to enable that resources, to invest in that sector, starting from sorting at the source, collecting, and of course the recycling and getting a recycled resource. So I hope that I answered the first part of your question. The second part of the related to the investment, I believe the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has not spared any efforts to avail that kind of investment. And even we see that the international team is focusing on the green investment. So I think we came at the right time to make this happen. And really, we see that the momentum and the desire from all of the investment and the banking sector to participate and to contribute positively in the green investment and the circular economy sector.
It's really interesting to know that we've started an education system to teach a course on sustainability to high school students. So this is news to me. Congratulations on that. Now let me move to Saad. Saad, Vision 2030 has identified the circular economy as a path to growth and diversification for the economy of Saudi Arabia and the progress towards net zero ambition. What are the opportunities for industry and the economy in implementing the circular economy? Also, as the Ministry of Industry and Minerals, how does the development of circular economy contribute to the national strategy of the ministry?
Thank you so much, Noor. An excellent question. So to recap about Vision 2030, I'm not going to talk much about it. Just three main pillars: is a vital society, thriving economy, and an ambitious nation. So remember these three pillars. So from an angle of an industry and the national industrial strategy, there are multiple opportunities on multiple angles. And as I've mentioned earlier in my statement, maybe focusing today in two main examples, starting with the automotive industry. The Kingdom is targeting a diverse and high value-added automotive industry that is capitalizing on latest technology that actually contribute to the environmental goals and the circular economy goals on all angles, either on electric vehicles, even in fuel cell, commercial vehicles. Talking about also highly efficient ICE or industrial combustion engine technologies, and etc. Just in the last 12 months, just to show the progress that we have been making, where it shows opportunities across the board, especially on the supply chains around it, that is creating an ecosystem around it. So CIR is the first national brand for electric mobility. Was launched last November. Actually, I think last week or the week before, Lucid just started operations and production in King Abdullah Economic City. I think yesterday or the day before, PIF and the Saudi Electric Company launched a new company for the electric infrastructure, electric vehicle infrastructure company. And I think today also there was a company launched. And it's more into how we capitalize on this growing sector to also continue the momentum really to leverage on technologies and also expertise related to the big ecosystem and supply chain that these industries can bring. And that shows that this is making not only the kingdom, but also the region, making it highly integrated with the global supply chains, especially with the accelerated growth in the EV mobility. On the other hand, when we talk about the recycling, maybe focusing on plastic recycling, as mentioned by my colleague Mohammed, again, and iterated by my colleague Tariq, it's an ecosystem thing. And that brings an opportunity for us to capitalize on the demand that we are anticipating. We're anticipating growth in the Kingdom, Middle East, around 20% annual CAGR by 2030 on recyclates. That is driven by the Kingdom and the world quest for sustainability and consumer pressure also, which also put pressure on brand owners really to bring that in. And that brings both economical and environmental benefits. These opportunities actually, they bring jobs. They also allow opportunities for SMEs and entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, they contribute to the national GDP, and that is also important when it comes to sustainability. So, if I reflect back on the 3 pillars of the Vision 2030, it's actually contribute heavily on having a thriving society, or a vital society, and a thriving economy, and also an ambitious nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Saad. Yes, and the importance of building or having an ecosystem all working towards circular economy is very important. And this leads to a question that I would like to address for Firdaus. What are the critical challenges facing cities in managing waste, and how to transform waste into an opportunity for circular economy?
Well, thank you for this question, because it does put on the table the key lever that the local governments are using to enhance the quality of life of their citizenship and communities. The service delivery, I was saying earlier, must go from the goods, the commons, and whatever resources the people need to unfold their daily life. So they need to have a flow of goods. They need to ensure that what is the waste of these goods, how it will be managed, and how this waste management will ensure at the end of the day that they are entering the virtuous circle of circularity. And the key question here is, as I was saying earlier, the local governments cannot make it alone. So the key question for them, and that for me is the big challenge, is how to generate the right ecosystem. Why do I say right? Because we are facing today in the world a problem of trust, not only with the private sector, but also with the politicians. And those that are losing the trust are the citizens. So when the service delivery must be done to them, the question of the dialogue, building the trust, building the right ecosystem, ensuring that there is transparency, ensuring that those that are talking about delivery are delivering. My colleague here was talking about what we were exchanging before, about doing what we preach.
Practicing what we preach.
Practicing what we preach.
Walking the walk.
Exactly what I call that walking the walk. So walking the talk.
Walking the talk, I'm sorry.
Yes. So yeah, that is exactly the problem, where the problem resides. So the public-private partnership, while being a solution, is very sensitive in the way it is implemented. And it's around the world, and also in the MENA region, it has shown problems from trust in the campaigning of building this public-private partnership. So this is the first point I would like to raise. The second point is how can we attract the private sector to come to the cities and ensure that the city has an attractivity that allows the private sector to come, talking about the market, talking about the numbers, the key figures that are studied each time. And why do I talk about the market? The market is important because when you will be building a circularity, you cannot do it in one city unless it is a mega city. But if you want to do it more largely and have really a national model that is transformed, you need the large market and all the cities to be integrated into this dynamic. And this brings me to the third point, that is the question of the intermediary cities. The intermediary cities are the next frontier for the market. I will bring an example later, but why? Because the intermediary cities, when you work on the intermediary cities, it's not about one city, it is about the mass of the cities in the national planning. So once you will be working on the service delivery, helping the local government to ensure the service delivery to citizens, you will not be doing it on one city, but on the mass of the cities. And we have this example in Morocco. I'll be coming back to it a little bit later. But the question is how to explore and how to develop this circularity in all the cities with a market that is generating a new green market with green jobs and a large waste management that can ensure that that not only the circularity is happening, but the private-public partnership is happening not at a small scale that is the intermediary city, but at national scale, making the private-public partnership more attractive and more trustable. And the last point I would like to share is the question of the responsibility, because the public-private partnership is based often on the fact that the responsibility is taken by the public part, while I believe that a better balanced responsibility between the different parts of the public-private, the PPP, would help a lot. And that would be a recommendation I would like to bring to this panel. And I will develop more later. I don't want to.
Thank you so much for those. This is actually a perfect segue to the question that I'm having for Tariq. So, Tariq, in your work in the circular economy company, you've conducted a lot of work and projects in the region. So, what does your organization see as the critical barriers to transformation to circular economy in the region?
Can I copy her answers? She said it all. It was perfectly articulated. Well, thank you for that question. I believe, yes, it was the perfect segue. And I have so many different points that I may stress on, as Firdaus rightly said, on the importance of the partnership having the partnerships on all different levels. And I believe this is, number one, the proper infrastructure, whether that may be for waste or recycling or regeneration, recovery. We can go through all the 9R infrastructures of sustainability or circularity, which leads to later on a necessity and need for education, which is awareness. And that was music literally to my ears as well, to hear that such an initiative now is happening. This does come as well from our own experience with Moan on writing and creating the national strategy for waste, particularly in awareness and capacity building. And without having the proper infrastructure, then that awareness or that education would not have the proper effectiveness of it. So that is a very important part to go through that barrier. Another important point, I believe, is cultural integration, cultural relevance. We are a vast country with different cultures from one part to the other. So when we do work on an infrastructure or education particularly, we need to know exactly who are we targeting, who is the audience that we're speaking to, and we need to know exactly what are the points that we need to shed light on in order for them to absorb that information. That is the right awareness. And that is a part of the things that we've worked with different government partners and private partners as well through our different services and projects. I'm always keen with the project owner to ensure cultural relevance and cultural integration for this particular area. An awareness program for Al-Ula is completely different than an awareness program for Riyadh, and as well moving forward to the Eastern Province or Western Province and Southern Provinces. So these 2 points are, I believe, are critical points that everyone needs to look into to achieve the proper sustainability outcomes.
Thank you, Tariq. Yeah, it is very important to have a culture-sensitive awareness programs when we're talking about circular economy. So that leads to a question that I would like to address to you, Mohammed. Saudi Arabia has embarked on an ambition program of reform under Vision 2030 to achieve the ambitions defined by MAWAN, which is the National Center of Waste Management, the target of 82% diversion from landfill. Significant technological development is required. We've discussed the significant investments needed to develop the required infrastructure. Can you describe how advancements in technology and AI benefit the future infrastructure for sorting, recovering, and recycling?
Okay, actually, this is a really good question at the good time. Just to give you the context and the audience, you mentioned the 82% landfill diversion. This is the target that we have set with our colleagues in MAWAN in 2035. But to just give a context, what's our percentage currently? We are now less than 5% of recycling and landfill diversion.
Very ambitious target.
So just to looking to the total globe, we identify around 5 to 6 countries who's achieving that target by achieving the 100% for the landfill diversion, and that, of course, including plus 50% in the recycling business. So moving for, it's also worth to mention that this talk, the G20, some of the G20 countries, 25 years to 35 years to achieve that target. Okay, so currently we are in 2023 at having 5% at the current situation and trying to achieve 82% for all of the waste streams and 94% for the municipal and solid waste. And answering that, how we are going to achieve it, will require the collaboration from all of the parties, the private and the technology providers, the private sectors, and of course the governmental entities as well to set the right legislation at place. And of course, capitalizing on the technological advancement. Currently, we are lucky that we have now many technologies that will support our objective, our business to grow in the right dimension. So we are not talking only about the normal landfill diversion or the recycling business, which is containing the MRF, the material recovery facility, or the composting. No, but we are taking of course, we are taking in consideration the high-tech waste technologies. For example, waste to hydrogen. Waste to hydrogen, this is one of the technologies that we are transferring our municipal solid waste to hydrogen, which is the green hydrogen that going to be utilized in the businesses very soon. And also we were transferring, I'm giving just another example for transferring the used cooking oil to SAF, to the sustainable aviation fuel that will be utilized in the airplanes. Actually, for the context of partnership, we are signing with the world leading companies in that, such as I can name Marubeni, one of the leading Japanese companies, and of course with Aramco and Total for the SAFA project. So the technological advancement, I think this is one of the main pillars that we are depending in our strategy. This is one of the, we consider it also one of the enablers to move from the 5% to the 82% in all of the type of the waste. Of course, we have a partnership with the universities as well. The last year, we have been recognized by Forbes as a #2 company that finding the sustainable development solutions in terms of the sustainable solutions. So, and this is thanks for our partners, King Faisal University and Coast, where we produce 2 types of products that supporting the sustainability journey for the kingdom as well. So the technological advancement, you mentioned the AI, the MRF, the facility is not going to be like any MRF facility. Of course, it will have the latest technological advancement to increase the recycling percentage. And also we are depending on the advanced solutions that covering the latest technologies, waste to chemical, waste to hydrogen, the used cooking oil to SAF, and you name it, from all of the technologies that existing. And this is not ending now, not ending in 2023 October. This will be continue until we are achieving the target that we want to achieve.
Absolutely, absolutely, and congratulations for being ranked the second. And what you've mentioned is a real example of the collaboration between public and private, the work that you're doing with the universities. So this is a great example. And talking about examples, I would like just to go back to Firdaus now. You talked about the enablers for the right ecosystem for circularity. Now, I'd like to ask you about how do local government enhance their waste management. When it comes to industrial infrastructures, do you have illustrative examples from the region?
Thank you, Noor. Actually, I would like to go upstream a little bit and recall that we are talking about industrialization or disindustrialization. Part of the world is talking about degrowth for resilience and sustainable development. And actually, the global south is still thriving for the prosperity and for finding the goods and a better quality of life. And in this, having said this, this region, I think, MENA region, is the perfect enabler, to say it somehow. And I would like to share an example I was talking earlier about, is Morocco. Before being in UCLG, I did work on a multilateral agreement on implementing SDGs upon a Vision 2030 in intermediary cities. And we built up a multilateral agreement between Morocco government, the Ministry of Housing and Interior of Local Government, UCLG and UN Habitat to ensure the implementation of SDGs into the intermediary cities. And one of the pillars I did recommend to them is the climate one. It was taken with the question of the waste and resources. And therefore, talking about industry in this sense, the question is how to not make of the rest of the country that are not mega cities the contaminated part of the country. Because usually we want to decontaminate the biggest cities, so we take them out of these territories, but the question is not to recontaminate elsewhere. The question is to bring a transformative model somewhere else. And here the intermediary cities are playing their part because Morocco has launched, under the vision of His Majesty Mohammed Sadis, a new transformative model of development. And therefore, this project was entering a little bit this vision and ensuring that industry was playing a key role in enhancing the whole value chain into the intermediary cities, and it is something they are working on right now, and make it not only a value chain, but a circular chain that is respecting circularity. So that is the example I wanted to share with you. Having said that, I think it is very important to not forget that local governments need to deal with this ecosystem and need to build it. So this multi-level dialogue with the national level, when you are talking about many cities, is very important. I know that Mamlaka Saudiya has a lot of intermediary cities. I know they are working on finding some solutions at national territorial planning, and I think that maybe a good solution to this would be to see the industry as being something that is supporting the service delivery in general, as a green service delivery in all the cities, as a general management at national level, and ensuring that actually it's not an industry that is moving from a place to another, but an industry that is bringing green jobs, green vision, and implementing the Vision 2030. We were hearing Mr. Saad talking about that. If there is an implementation of the 2030 agenda, those industries can really play an accelerator for this in these territories, and especially when the planning is seen at national level, at national planning territory.
Thank you so much, Firdaus, for sharing this example from Morocco. So, flying from Morocco to Saudi. So back to you, Saad. And the question is about how does the Ministry of Industry view the opportunity for public-private partnership in the development of circular economy? What can the ministry do to support industries transform to circularity?
Thank you, Noor. Thank you so much. I think I'd like to go back to early statements, but the fundamentals on how we view a transformation in the industry, as I've said before, it should be a private sector-led transformation. But that does not mean we don't do anything, right? It is, and I agree with my fellow panelists that it is everyone that is within that ecosystem. And from a regulatory perspective, how we can enable that transformation through sound policies, through having the regulatory framework to enable that. Take an example of recycling. I think my fellow panelist has already explained and that we talked about the whole value chain, and I like the whole value circular chain, which is actually it's a much better and accurate term. Throughout the raw material, I mean the waste, and also the product. So we have the supply and demand. Beautiful points by Mohammed with awareness that goes beyond all the way to schools, and how we view, the different cities with different sizes. With each nation and each area has its own circumstances. So I emphasize on the point also was said by Tariq. The industry at this circular chain is one part of it, and that part will have multiple stakeholders. And as we pick up the momentum, and we need to continue that momentum and learn as we go, we have one of the learnings that we've seen is the importance of having a platform for all the different stakeholders, the private sector, the experts, the regulators, the infrastructure providers, everyone, to have that kind of platform. And now we are activating what we call sectorial councils to actually bring all these together. really to make sure that challenges are resolved along the way from a regulatory perspective and also from infrastructure perspective, from awareness, from education, from all aspects. And not only that, anything to grow has to be competitive. And competitiveness now is all about knowledge, know-how, about technology advancement, where such platform can also help the different players really to have that venue, really to exchange. And not only to exchange among them, also how to work with CIRC, how to work with MOA, and how to work with everyone, universities, research, really to help the industry grow. And really to help making this region, let's say, a hub for knowledge, especially with very ambitious targets for us to achieve on circular economy in all the different aspects. Yeah, that's it. I think it's becoming red, so I think I need to stop. So thank you so much.
These are interesting topics that could that would allow us to keep on flowing
Exactly.
with ideas and discussions all night.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But the red color is very
Exactly.
alarming.
And,
So.
and we, as KSA Packaging Group, we look forward to hear more about this platform and this initiative. Now, the question is to you, Tariq. In your consultation with industry, what do you foresee as being the approaches and enablers to support industry in their transition to the circular economy?
Thank you, Noor, first of all. Well, at CEC, we believe firmly in the importance of local content. But the importance of local content needs to come, has a catch with it and a hook. That hook comes with the full awareness and knowledge of international standards and quality. Now, once that is there and completely absorbed and understood, that is where a local content can come in with the local culture relevance to help the to help the public sector and to help this entire vision and goals that we have within the mandates of the vision to achieve all of these different outcomes required. So we believe that is one very important part. But the pivotal and most important point, I believe, is technology. There is no sustainability, there is no circularity without the proper technological advances. And that comes on so many different levels, whether that may be on, whether it's downstream, upstream, whether it is from waste to energy, whether it is waste to creating green hydrogen or blue hydrogen. Blue hydrogen is purer than green, however, it is more costly at the moment. But with the proper technology advances, with research and development, we will achieve that. We've been working on a R&D concerning oil, and that's a global issue. We have come up with something right now. I cannot disclose so much about it, but it's something very interesting and exciting for us to realize that we no longer need to just look into recycling oil. Now we've looked into regenerating oil, and through that we were able to enhance the life cycle of oil. Instead of a one-time use, we can now go up to 10 times of this, using the same oil that was already used, whether it's hydraulic oil, whether it's food oil, whether any types of oil in any different industries. So that came from, of course, understanding the international standards, whether they are World Bank guidelines or IFC principles or even SDGs, take into consideration, of course, ESG reports, which could lead the way and create this pathway towards the proper sustainability while understanding my current state through this ESG report. That would allow me to actually integrate and put into consideration these different guidelines required, whether they're international, and as well mixing them locally with the local guidelines. And of course, more importantly, is bringing in the proper technology with the proper R&D, again, internationally and locally, to have a proper circular economy model, which everyone is going to win on. And with circularity, what I love about circular economy is it is literally in so many ways defined as it is circular. It is a closed loop So it's a win-win-win-win-win situation. And what we need to do is always look for where's the missing link? Where's the circle? The circle has particular loops in it. So we just need to maybe sometimes reverse engineer certain services or certain guidelines even to pinpoint where this loophole is and how can we close it in order for this to continuously have the proper ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Tariq. Now, my last question to all of you, because me too, I look at the red counting down all the time. So what role do public-private partnership play in each of your mandate? And what would you like to see the industry doing to accelerate the transformation to circular economy? So who would like to pick this question first and provide the answer? Shall we start with you, Firdaus?
Bismillah. Well, I think I did answer a little bit this question. This is why I would retake it a little bit. And I would like to insist on the question of the trust. In the fact that to build this ecosystem and accelerate this, the implementation of circularity, we need trust to be rebuilt at national, local, regional levels with the private sector, with the different, and what I would recommend, and this is my second recommendation, is to have it in a participatory approach. Because therefore, all actors agree on what's going on, all actors can go forward, and we were saying a little bit earlier as well, you can go fast if you are alone, but you can go far if we are together. So this is a little bit, generating this ecosystem is not about one-shot thing, it's really about making it sustainable, to make the whole dynamic sustainable. And for that, building trust and having a participatory approach between the citizens, the different parts of this PPP, and we always say PPP, but there are many actors in this PPP. Integrating the communities into the dynamic will help a lot. Because the question today is about the trust, if we want things to be sustainable, and if we want this fight against the climate change and all its components to be sustainable, we need to go, we should see to go that way. I'll stop here.
Okay.
As you see, we can stay on it.
Yeah, I'll give you the floor for a closing remark after this question. Saad?
Yeah, sure. I think as I've mentioned before, and I really like the statement by Firdaus, it's this partnership in everything. When we draft policies, that link has to happen in the ground. At the end of the day, the industry or the private sector will be the user of these policies, will be the beneficiary of these policies. When we drive the legislations, when we look at challenges, I think that's an important part. And it's not a one-time only. It's a journey that will continue. Of course, the world is changing. Dynamics are different. And having that systematic approach is important. And when we talk about the public sector, you have also multiple players. You have to bring whomever is involved in it. In our discussion today, it can go all the way to schools. Something that in my job, only family side, but really when you think about it, it's everything. Schools, research, even how we see from a cultural perspective, how we incentivize that. And I think that is a key message on how we should look at this partnership on a never-ending journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Saad. Tariq?
Everything's being said. I have nothing more to add.
That's why I said me next.
I completely agree with my fellow panelists, and they've rightfully said, as Firdaus rightfully said, trust is very important. I believe, or we believe at CEC in general, the most important part is to realize that everyone is winning. It's, I don't want to take from you something, nor do I want to give you something without something back in return. And this goes for private or public and private partnerships, which leads all the way to citizens and users. So once they realize that this is a win-win situation for everyone, that is when we can have a firm, unified stand together to actually achieve this. And alhamdulillah, with the vision of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, and with the public sectors enabling as well, or creating, restructuring their entire organization with guidelines and bylaws and legislations, and with the belief and belief in the private sector, that is something beautiful for us as citizens to witness, and I believe anyone that lives in the country and that is as well coming in now and witnessing the change in our country. So that is, I believe, now my addition to it, and we do hope to see this bond getting stronger and stronger, inshallah.
Thank you, Tariq. Muhammad?
I believe they catch up all of the all of the items. I just have one remark. When the PIF initiated CIRC, they could initiate it Saudi Recycling Company, but they initiated Saudi Investment Recycling Company for a purpose, and that purpose, I think, it's very clear for all of the sector, because we want to start a real partnership with the private, with the local, with the international, with everybody that could support and could accelerate that transition to the circular economy. And thankfully, I think this was a wise decision that has been taken all that time. Now, thanks to that partnership, thanks to that concept, now we are consist of 7 subsidiaries covering different waste streams, and I'm proudly saying that the private and the local and the international partners are playing a major role for that transformation for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, even they are not a Kingdom of Saudi Arabia citizens. So I believe this is one of the beautiful image that you can see it when we are partnering with everybody, and when we take the partnership in the real mean of the partnership. That what does it mean?
Absolutely. Partnership and collaboration is always rewarding. Now, I'd like to ask each one of you to give a closing remark. We have less than 2 minutes to conclude the session. So I'll start with you, Mohammed.
This is surprising.
Yeah.
As the closing remarks, I want to highlight that 60 million of construction and demolish waste, around 35,000 metric ton of electrical and electronic waste, 75,000 of the municipal and solid waste, 500,000 of industrial and hazardous waste. This is already has been done within 5 years.
Wow.
But we are not there yet.
Yes.
What we are forecasting, the circular economy will have to contribute more than 100 billion Saudi riyal in the GDP. We are anticipating that it will contribute for more than 77,000 jobs. It will reduce the harmful emission by 73 million ton of harmful emissions, and it will reduce the oil consumption by 60 million barrel a day. And to achieve that in 2035, we welcome all of the partners and the potential partners and the future partners to join us in that journey to achieve that target.
In 30 seconds. Saad.
That's a great closing remark. I totally agree with Mohammed, and that's a good way to have a remark. I'm just kidding. But honestly, I think opportunities is there. And it is our job as a regulator to enable these opportunities for all the different stakeholders. And we are very excited, really, especially with what Mohammed said, with all the accomplishment that we have seen, and yet maybe we're not even there yet.
Yeah.
So more opportunities are coming, more work on us is coming also, and that is something that impact us as human beings, our families, our beloved ones, and also there is an opportunity to take that risk and make it something better for the economy. And again, it will help the health and safety of people. It will bring opportunities, economic opportunities. And we need always to be ambitious on what we aim to achieve.
Thank you, Saad. Tariq?
Well, I would like to end it with a simple quote, yet very meaningful, by our visionary leader, His Royal Highness our Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. We will no longer follow an example, but we will be leading by example.
Absolutely.
And I believe this does sum up everything that my fellow panelists just said. And we are looking forward to actually achieving that within the country. And we have a firm belief that we will do so, inshallah.
Thank you, Tariq. Firdaus.
Inshallah. Maybe just 2 words, two different concepts, not 2 words. But the first one is for industry to not forget that local governments have this service delivery mandate and towards citizenship, that citizens are the first consumer in building waste. So if we want this to happen, we need to go through the local government to get to the consumers, to get to the citizens, and industry could be really an opportunity in rethinking it in this way and bringing a new awareness raising to the people, for the people. And this is what we are all working for.
Thank you so much. I'd like just to thank you all. Big thank you to all of you for the contribution to the panel. And also I'd like to thank the organizers, the team of the United Nations Climate Week for everything that they've done to support us, organize for this session. And thank you to the audience. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noor.